In this video, I want to explain to you how not to be a loser. I'm a loser. So obviously I know how to be a loser, a failure. So in this video, I'll explain to you how not to be a loser. I did a video, is that college video, Awful Truth About College, about debts and stuff. You make sure you watch that video so you understand the debt problem, okay? You do not want to end up in debt, especially student loans like I have, and all this other crap with debts and stuff. Because see, main problem I made in college is I wanted to learn. So I took a bunch of science classes. Lots of classes I didn't really need in science, but I still took them anyways. And I took a lot of extra other classes and bought a bunch of books. Read all of them and learned a lot of stuff. But it didn't help. Education does not help you. You still can end up a loser. Now, the first thing you want to do is about your job. Now, see, if you watch the video about avoiding debt, you understand what I'm talking about, a job. Now, why you got to be very careful about, your debt, because your debt does determine the type of job you're going to have no choice but to take, and if you're stuck in your job or not. If you end up stuck, you could end up like me, stuck in a job that does not believe in giving raises. And you may say, well, if you don't like your job, quit. No, well, first off, the place in itself isn't so bad. It's the pay. Now, there's no chance of a raise. We don't get raises. I'm not going to get into that part, but we don't. Now, as for getting another job, well, let's say that, that's the thing people are always going to give you advice on. And it doesn't work. You're not always going to be able to get another job. Sometimes, the place you work at, any place you work at, it could have a bad reputation. Anything. A lot of things can go wrong that prevent you from being able to get another job, and you're stuck at that job that does not freaking pay. And you can't really just go get an education, take some night classes or whatever if you don't have money, because you're a loser like me. You gotta be. That's the biggest thing, is your debt. That will make you a loser. Also, of course, shyness, not being able to speak to people. That's another thing. If you can't talk to somebody, you can't talk to your boss, or you can't talk to the counselors when you're in college or whatever, and you apply for jobs and you get a little nervous because you're shy, you're going to get it up the anal. Let's put it that way. You're going to get it way deep up in there. I'm sure there are books and programs and YouTube things that'll help you with your shyness. Now, you may say, why don't you do it? Well, first off, I do, but see, you got to realize there's a big difference between being in your 40s and being in your 20s. I'm in my 40s. So, yeah, work on shyness. Yeah, but when you're in your 40s, it becomes a little bit more ingrained than when you're in your 20s. Trust me. You may say, well, you don't seem so shy right now. Yeah, because it's a video. It's not the same thing as face-to-face talking. Trust me. Big difference. And nobody's really watching these videos, so who cares anyways? You may say, well, I don't know what you would say, but be very careful. But that, your debt and shyness will definitely screw you up. If you're one of those poor bastards that are shy, you gotta work on it. There's a lot of things I'm sure out there that help you work on your shyness. Do it, especially when you're young. If you look at some videos, I think that Elliot Hulse does, his videos, he explains it to you, because someone, asked him a question. The guy was like 16, having trouble standing up for himself. And he straight up basically told him, you're 16, you're lucky you caught it now, because when you're young, 16, 18, 20, 22, you can start standing up for yourself, learning how to stand up for yourself, learning how to do these things. When you're in 40s, it's more ingrained into you and it's harder. Trust me. And plus, if you have a certain job and you need that job, you have no choice. But sometimes it'll be the little, what you don't want to be, a little bitch. Let's say that. You don't want to be, you have no choice but to put up with people. You're never going to get a raise, you're not going to get cost of living increase, none of that stuff's ever going to get any better. And you don't want to end up like a loser like me. Now, the other thing though about shyness, it also equals not getting married or having anybody. That's another part about being a loser. You can't really, lack of social skills means you can't speak to anybody. You need to build up your social skills. And of course, if you're in college, you got to be a little bit careful because some of those college girls there completely whacked in the head, you know. So you got to be very, very careful of those college girls because they are, I don't know what the hell is wrong with some of them. Now that I've been reading some of the things. Now, if you go out and drinking and, you know, and then you have sex with them, yeah, you're more likely to get screwed. So just don't drink, you know, when you're with them. But that's another thing is, you know, social awkwardness will help you become a loser. Poverty, definitely, you know, let's face it, if you have a lot of debt, that's the biggest thing is the debt. That's why I really urge you to watch that video. You know, I don't want to go into the whole thing now about it, but you really got to watch your credit card. But I'm going to go ahead and just discuss that credit card a little bit, you know, but not as much in that video. It's easy to get in credit card debt, okay? You know, you go charge $50 or, you know, a meal or whatever, you know, a little bit, but you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and it adds up. Eventually you owe so much, you're like, well, what the hell is another $20? What's another $100? You know, then you're really screwed. And you really got it up the anal, you know. You do not, see, this video is how not to be a loser. The tips I give you is basically don't be like me. So if someone decides to leave a comment to me telling me that I'm a loser, well, duh. Obviously I know that. You know, social awkwardness, poverty, debts, shyness, that will screw you over. Big time. You don't need the most expensive car. You know, there's no point in doing that. You know, the more payments you have on your bills and stuff, the more likely you know, it's better to have a better house than an apartment or anything like that, you know. You don't want to be poor. You don't want to end up like this. You really don't want to end up like me. You don't want to be a loser. You end up like a loser by buying everything that you want and that you see. I didn't really do that too much, but the problem is, though, I don't make any money. So, you know, that means even a little bit of credit card debt and the student loans, which is, I do owe a lot. Sorry, still getting over that cold. That's another thing about being a loser, is when you get sick, you can go to the doctor, all right. You just can't keep going. But anyway, the credit card debts, it's just easy to build up, you know. Student loans, you know, keep that to a minimum or non-existent. You gotta have, as I explained, you know, why you want to keep a little bit, maybe $5,000 student loans. Now you may wonder how much that I owe on student loans. Well, I ain't gonna tell you. I'll tell you right now, I have $14,000 left, and this is 14 years ago, no, 15 years ago since I graduated. That'll give you a hint how much I may have owed. Now you may say, well, wow, you must have owed a lot. Yeah, but also I have to make a very low payment because I don't make any real money. The only people that make less than me, in case anyone wants to know how much I actually do make, are people working in grocery stores, restaurants, and department stores, retail. They make less than me, but only them. You do not want to end up like me. You do not want to be a loser. So watch your debts. That's the biggest thing. Help yourself. Make sure you don't become shy and socially awkward. There are a lot of things, a lot of videos on YouTube you can watch. You do not want to be like me. Do not be me. Do not be me. You know? There are a lot of people that make YouTube videos. Okay? They make their videos, some of them, I've seen their videos are worse than mine. And mine pretty much suck. But theirs are worse than mine and they're making more money than I am. I don't know how, or does it really matter. But do you really want to have to do stuff like that, do stupid little stunts like that just to make a tiny bit of money? I'm not talking about them, I'm not insulting, I'm talking about me. Would you really want to? Especially when this is really not something you really, really enjoy? I mean, it's not too bad, but make sure when you do get a job, watch how that plays. Before you take any job, this is the best advice I'm going to give you. One of the best. before you take any job, sorry about that, but before you take any job, first thing you want to make sure is talk to other employees if you can. Ask them for the employee handbook. They should be willing to give you the employee handbook, you know. And you know about the raise, I mean, they tell you don't ask them questions about that stuff. Don't be asking questions about pay. Well, maybe you shouldn't, I don't know. But maybe you might want to consider asking them, you know, about pay. You know. You definitely, and also, usually, from what I understand, if more than one person is interviewing you, it might not be a good place to work at. Also, I'm going to do a video on personality tests, those stupid things, you know. Do you get angry? Yes, no, maybe, or whatever crap. If they give you those, do not take that job. It's a crap job. Do not take jobs that ask you stupid ass questions like that. If you can also go through the parking lot, look at the cars that the employees drive, and if you can, and look at the cars that the administrators drive. If there's a huge difference, like for example, the administrators are driving Porsches and Mercedes and Escalades and all these beautiful, big ass, nice, expensive cars, but the employees are driving Geo Metros and Hyundais and all this other stuff, you might want to think that maybe they don't pay so well, you know. And look up on internet and on YouTube and everything about, you know, how to decide if a job is worth taking. Be careful about the job you take. Trust me. Be very, very, very careful. Do not, I repeat, do not end up like a loser, like me. Thanks. Please like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks.